I want to explain you about the OPENDEI project and the job developed to propose the data, to support the data spaces deployment. As probably most of you know, we were working in collaboration also with all the 4 sectors that we are addressing in OPENDEI on the creation of a paper, on a task force 1 for data sharing. In this task force 1, all experts in domain sector, in healthcare sector, but also on other sectors, work together with experts on data spaces to define how we should design the data spaces as the European health data space that you commented before. And one of the principles of that they agree were in 4 design principles. One has been commented before: data sovereignty, trustworthiness, the trust on the participants and on the software developed on these data spaces should be a requirement. Also, another important aspect is the defining of use cases for data sharing, data exchange. And one important thing is how to create these data spaces based on a common soft infrastructure. It could be technical software, but also, as you commented before, agreements, governance agreements, how to share data. And this should be a distributed soft infrastructure that allows us to deploy these data spaces in a common way and make it interoperable. And finally, the participation of public sector on public and private governance. If you want to know more about this paper and the content, here you can find the webpage where you can find this document. And yeah, this document has been considered in future calls, and also for the European Commission, national governments, has achieved a great impact. So it's a good starting point for the designing data spaces. But in a second iteration, we went deeper to identifying the building blocks, which is the state of the art of building blocks. We commented that we need to define a common software infrastructure, and this common soft infrastructure is composed of 12 building blocks that were identified on OPENDEI, design principles position paper. And these building blocks contribute to the 4 principles that was commented. These building blocks contribute to the data spaces interoperability, the trust and sovereignty data sharing, but also the business development, the data value, and finally to the governance. So during the second iteration of the project, we developed a survey, and we identified how the different projects around OPENDEI has contributed to develop part of these building blocks. And here you have the QR where you can find this document as an initial starting point, because future data space support center will work further on these building blocks and the creation of a blueprint. Also, we have created a catalog, the first catalog of building blocks that you can reach, you can see on GitHub. And this catalog provides a first reference implementations proposed by different projects, some of them in healthcare, regarding which solutions they have developed or implemented to achieve interoperability, trust and sovereignty, or added value. I am not going to spend so much time on that. I just invite you to go to this GitHub catalog. You can find on the QR how to access directly to them. And there you can find the definition of the 9 technical building blocks and detailed information from different projects, how they have implemented these building blocks and which are the gaps. So what is needed to further develop. And this content that I have explained to you has achieved a great impact, as I commented before, because we supported the data spaces project, how to implement digital platforms projects, how to evolve to data spaces. And we create, with the papers and the communication from OPENDEI, we create a great impact, making awareness, what are data spaces, what are the principles, but also we supported one key aspect that was the convergence of different initiatives. At this moment, we have 4 initiatives that team up, but also with additional ones. Big Data Value Association, Fireware, and Gaia X team up under the Data Spaces Business Alliance to have a common understanding. And now more initiatives and key partners on implementing data spaces has teamed up against under a recent granted project, the Data Spaces Support Center. Data Spaces Support Center under the Digital Europe program will provide support on the first implementations of data spaces, some of them on healthcare sector, for example, on genomics and cancer. And this data spaces support center is going to support on the deployment of data spaces and providing guidelines. One important aspect on the design, one important aspect on the design on the data spaces implementation on digital transformation is the business impact. OPENDEI project has worked in different tasks. One is task for one that I have presented the results before, but another important task is task for 4, that is a think tank to create knowledge and tools for foster effective sharing and assessment of experience and lessons learned on analyzing drivers and barriers for adoption of platforms supporting digital transformation, and also assessing their impact, their business impact. So in this task force, in this think tank, a pool of experts on the 4 domains under OPENDEI, agriculture, energy, manufacturing, and healthcare, has collaborated in a voluntary base in order to identify new opportunities and challenges, and the findings has been published under a white paper and a business assessment framework. This think tank or task force for activities has been developed in 2 iterations. The first iteration was a market analysis in collaboration with experts, and also the development of SWOT analysis, cross-domain and multi-domain SWOT analysis. And in the second iteration, the experts participating on the task force worked on identifying, defining business impact and benchmark framework that could be used in common for different projects. Here you can see in a nutshell that in task force 1, 24 members participated, and on the first iteration, the results were one webinar to talk about market analysis, the referred SWOT, and a publication of a position paper, analysis of drivers and barriers for the adoption of digital platform. And on the second iteration, in collaboration with experts and with 2 surveys, the task force identified a business impact assessment framework composed of 42 KPIs for business impact. And here you can find the organization that contribute to this white paper, and you can find the URL where you can find the document commented before.